Did you know that in 2019, Health Canada released an updated version of its food guide? The guide marked a distinct shift, with the focus of the guide being based on nutritional evidence based information. When we compare the food guides from 1992 and 2019, we can see some pretty big differences. The older guide features meat and milk categories, while the new food guide has four distinct categories: fruit and veggies, whole grains, and the proteins category.
In the proteins category, we see a focus on plant-based proteins and legumes.
This raises some questions. Why the drastic switch in recommendations? What effects would these changes have on our health, our communities, and our planet? While the field of nutrition is ever growing, we can all agree that our dietary choices impact our health.
This means that what we eat strongly affects our likelihood of getting many diseases. In fact, eating red meat 4 more times a week increases your risk of getting colorectal cancer.
Whereas eating fruits and vegetables lowers your risk of heart attack and stroke.
Vegetarians and vegans have a lower risk for all types of cancers and types of diabetes than people who eat meat.
The link between plant based foods and good health is strong and can be seen through the Hispanic paradox.
Hispanic people in the US are at a higher risk for many diseases due to a variety of factors, including reduced levels of education, higher levels of poverty, and reduced access to healthcare.
Yet, they actually have a much lower mortality rate from some conditions, including cardiovascular disease, COPD, and lung cancer, than white or black Americans. But why? Research shows it's due to their love of beans and increased consumption of other plants compared to the standard American diet.
Beans, along with other legumes like peas and lentils, are plant based proteins that pack a disease fighting punch.
They are higher in fiber, which can help control inflammation in the body. This has been linked to better health outcomes in cardiovascular disease, COPD, and lung cancer.
This represents something incredible. Despite being at a high risk of developing these types of diseases, Hispanic people's plant focused diets give them a higher chance of surviving them and a lower chance of even developing them in the first place. Diseases that are closely linked to our dietary choices also cost our healthcare system a lot of money. On average, Canadians do not eat enough healthy food, as prescribed by Canada's Food Guide, and these food choices are causing massive financial consequences. This underconsumption of healthy food is expected to cost $12.5 billion every year. That's more than the Canadian government spent on health and medical research in a single year. And eating too much meat, especially red and processed meats, leads to a lot of health care expenses.
In 2018 alone, overconsumption of red meat and processed meat led to a staggering total of $920 million in Canadian healthcare costs.
So it's clear that plant based foods like legumes, fruits, vegetables, and whole grains are optimal for our health. But how would this dietary change affect our environment? 83% of farmland on Earth is used for animal agriculture, and most of this land is actually used to grow crops to feed the animals. In Canada alone, 80% of barley crops and 60% of corn crops are used in animal feed. This means that every drop of dairy and piece of meat requires the vast and inefficient use of many of our precious resources, including land and water. To make matters worse, global animal agriculture, including all seafood, animal products like meat, and dry products like milk, cheese, and eggs, only produces 37% of the world's protein and 18% of the world's overall calories. This is because around 90% of calories consumed are lost to metabolism, meaning we are putting more food into the system than we are getting out. This inefficient system causes severe environmental damage, drives climate change, and wastes limited resources while still seeing people go hungry and undernourished. To add to this, as global population grows, the Western diet laden with animal products is becoming the norm. This is unsustainable and having severe impacts on our planet. It's widely recognized that we must shift our diets to a plant-focused way of eating to reduce permanent and devastating environmental change. And it seems like Canada's food guide suggests the same.
As consumers, we have the power to make a difference. If we all reduced our consumption of animal foods by half, we would emit 10 billion fewer metric tons of CO2 every year.
Eating less animal foods means we can also free up that land for growing food for humans instead of livestock. This would allow us to build green energy projects and also rewild that land for carbon sequestration. Not only that, but animal agriculture impacts our communities and our local food systems as well. Smaller food producers are pushed out of the market by large-scale industrial operations. Growth of highly industrial, factory-sized animal agriculture often leads to demographic, social, and economic changes in rural communities.
Neighbors of industrial animal agriculture farms often feel their quality of life is decreased because of constant odor, leading to tension and hostility between the farmers and the neighboring residents. Overall, this can result in residents feeling a loss of trust and rural community values.
So, to make a long story short, does what we eat really matter? Absolutely. Not just for your own health and well being, but for your community and environments as well. In fact, during this time of soaring food prices and unforgiving climate change, transitioning away from a high meat diet to a plant focused diet is one of the best things you can do for yourself, your environment, and your communities. The 2019 Canada's Food Guide provides an excellent opportunity to improve your health, your community, and improve your impact on the planet.
Thanks for watching our series on Canada's Food Guide. Reimagine Agriculture is a nonprofit organization working towards the future of food. You can support our work by donating via the link in the description, liking this video, leaving a comment, or sharing it with your friends and family. As well, check out the rest of our website below and donate to support our work. We have resources in our description for educators who want to include this video and other work in their classroom. Be sure to sign up for our newsletter and follow our social media accounts linked below to stay in touch with everything related to Reimagine Agriculture.